Well, Howard read the article. Howard actually said, he goes, I think it just makes you cooler. And then she said, the one thing she said, she goes, he's a combination of, Artie's a combination because of his storytelling of David Sedaris and Chris Farley.
Okay.
And Norm went on Howard and goes, what does that mean? You're like real funny and you're also a fag? Norm is just the most honest. But he goes, after seeing the picture, he goes, here's the one piece of advice. Anyone who owns a camera should not be allowed in your apartment.
Nobody really did anything with it since Bill and Jane stopped doing it until Dennis really took it over. So
right.
He made it hip again.
To say Norm Macdonald had no jokes is one, my God.
Oh, yeah.
It gives me douche chills. Some of the best jokes ever, and some of the ballsiest jokes, you know?
Just
For sure.
all the OJ jokes where you just stare into the camera. Like, he didn't get it that was funny when he
Right.
stared into the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
The greatest...
Yeah,
The greatest story ever is when supposedly he got fired, and Norm is in Don Ohlmeyer's office, and he goes, Norm, I got some bad news for you. And Norm goes, what? He goes, you're fired. He goes, oh my God, that's terrible. Why? He goes, because you're not funny. Oh my God, that's even worse news.
It's such a real reaction. I can tell you notice.
Oh my God, that's even worse news. How am I going to get a job now? I've always liked it here. I have a lot of history here. You know, I like it here.
What is your history here?
Well, I mean, you know, doing stand-up and stuff. There's a story I tell about Norm. I opened up for Norm at the Palace of the Fine Arts. When Dirty Work came out in 1998, MGM sent us on a tour. Two horrible, degenerate gamblers. We had all these bets in with these bookies on the. It was June. It was the NBA Finals between the Utah Jazz and the Bulls, and we would perform. And every night we had like 40 grand on the games, and we would watch them just nervously, like at the end, like in these. They put us up in Ritz Carltons because MGM was footing the bill for everything.
Right.
And we did about 7 cities. So we came to San Francisco, and I had only done a club here. And Norm comes up to me, and this was good. Norm just loved torturing people, and he does it in the most brilliant way.
Right.
He comes up to me and goes, listen, man, we're in fucking San Francisco. No gay shit. And I go, oh, all right. Well, if I played San Francisco before. He goes, nah, that's like you're at a club. There's a fucking theater, man. There's critics out there. Don't fuck me, man. No gay shit. And I go, all right, fine. So I go out 20 minutes, and I have 4 seconds at that point in my life without gays. So I get through the 20 minutes. I introduce Norm. Norm walks out, and I'm listening from the back. Before he says, good to be here, you're a great crowd, nice to be here, the first thing that comes out of his mouth, hey, how about that AIDS? He goes, you know, I read all this bad shit about AIDS, but then I read that AIDS doesn't discriminate. And that's kind of nice. And then like 10 seconds goes by, and this is what you hear him say, where are you going? A great Norm story. He hadn't had a cigarette, or at least he hadn't had a cigarette for 4 years. He quit smoking. Right. And he lost all this money on a football game. You ever hear of Mark Brunell, the quarterback, Mark Brunell?
No.
The quarterback, you know, in the NFL. And Norm bet on him, and I guess, you know, fucked up. And one of the writers, it was a friend of mine, said he walked in and, you know, Norm supposedly hadn't smoked a cigarette for 4 years. And Norm was huddled up in the corner at his office at Saturday Night Live, huddled up smoking a cigarette, blowing the smoke out the window.
Right.
And the kid said to him, Norm, why are you smoking? And he, out of the side of his mouth, he said, ask Mark Brunell. Yeah, Norm has a lot of, like, very... He's a kind of poet about life. Like, he's very good at, like, pointing out the obvious in the most funny fucking way. They're not even jokes,
right?
You know, like Norm always said. This is such an insightful thing about comedy. Norm always said when he was doing Weekend Update, or even throughout his years doing stand-up, he would always say to the writers, I would love, to me the perfect joke is the setup and the punchline are the exact same thing.
Right.
That, to me, is a perfect joke. And he goes, we only came close once.
Right.
Julia Roberts was married to Lyle Lovett for a while.
Right.
So Julia Roberts announces she's going to divorce Lyle Lovett. So the joke is, Norm goes, Julia Roberts announced today that she's ending her marriage to Lyle Lovett. She wants a divorce from Lyle Lovett. When asked for the reason, she said, because I'm Julia Roberts and he's Lyle Lovett. I'll give you Norm. I'll give you an example of what I talked about with Danger before, and like how many comics could get away with this and even breach this subject. Norm's observation about gay pride parade and the people who say, "I'm proud to be the parent of a gay Do you know this bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on his last
Oh
album.
my God! I was there the night he wrote this, and we're trying to figure out that he did it. Okay. He goes, yeah, I see in these gay parades, people walk around going, "I'm proud to be the parent of a gay man." I don't know. Is that something to be proud of? It's not an achievement. It's not like going to law school or something. It's just, what you are. It's like you're not proud of that. It's like, you go to their house and I go, how's Danny doing? Oh, he's doing great. Boy, that kid is great. He is going to Wharton School of Business, getting married to a wonderful woman from a great family. He keeps himself in shape. Oh, and by the way, he loves cock. Boy, that kid can't get enough cock. His mouth, his ass. I mean, it's just after law school and the gym, it's just cock. Here's a picture of him sucking a filthy cock. Here's him at his Harvard graduation, and here he is sucking a dirty cock. I don't know where he gets that from. He doesn't get that from me. He gets that from his mom. Norm, again, another Norm joke, but he sort of, again, that area pisses him off as much as it does us. He was at an SNL after party. This, to me, was put perfectly. I'm not going to say the comic's name because... I'm permission from Norm. But anyway, Harvey Weinstein was holding court. He was talking about he had seen that scene of alternative comedy, and he had seen somebody that everybody was kind of at that moment was the king of that. That's all. And Harvey Weinstein, I've been seen him at work. He's a very obnoxious. He just yells shit out that he thinks is brilliant, like Stephen Wright jokes or something. Right. You can't have everything. Where would you put it? Stuff like that. So he goes. He says this guy's name, and Norm's sitting there. He's on with Lorne and everybody, and and Harvey Weinstein says this person's name and goes, "I think Sons is a genius." And then he looks at Norm and goes, "Norm, what do you think?" And Norm goes, "Is he good at math or something?" And it's like, okay. The ballsy part is now Weinstein looks like an asshole, and people are like Lauren, and from that moment on, one of the most powerful guys in the world hates with a passion Norm Macdonald. It's like, so that's he's my hero for that, but is it worth it?
I really feel unleashed and on my own.
Yeah, well, you should do that Byron Allen show if you feel unleashed. Two things about that show you're going to love.
No, I'm not going on a tangent about the Byron Allen.
Well, real quick. Norm Macdonald goes, "I did that show, Comics Unleashed. I never felt more leashed."
What about Norm with the, here's the first joke. You know how you always have a moment where a light bulb goes off and you go, "Wow, that kid's a stone killer." I was watching him one night, he said, at a club, had no idea who he was. He said, "I feel sorry for the homeless guy, but I really feel sorry for the homeless guy's dog, because, the dog is thinking, this is the longest fucking walk ever."
Well, I opened for Norm for a while on the road, and we were together. We did a sitcom for 2 years, and we made a movie for 2 months. So it was like going away to camp with somebody, and either hate somebody or like them when you do that. That we ended up liking each other. We had the same vices, unfortunately, as far as gambling's concerned. But some people in the audience know this story, but I doubt you do. You'll love this.
No,
Norm.
Tell me.
So we do a movie called Dirty Work together. It's like a buddy comedy, and the review comes out in my hometown paper. My mother, I'm in LA. My mother calls me up crying. The critic in my hometown paper said that Artie Lange has all the charm of a date rapist. That's exactly what the guy said. So Norm gets on the phone and tries to cheer up my mother, and he goes, "Hey, Mrs. Lange, that's a great review." And she goes, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "A date rapist has to have way more charm than a regular rapist."
So that's Norm sitting shiva with your mother.
Yeah. Then there was a pause, and then she burst into tears again.
Me, what I'm getting out of Artie Lange, because I love you, is that you're a talented guy that loves pleasure. That's what it is. It's just
pleasure
and excitement.
I like something. I feeling something.
Yeah, and
it doesn't have to be pleasure.
And this gambling thing, that's like cutting. That goes deep down to the nerves.
It's
like
the best thing in the world. It's just like me and Norm Macdonald used to do this thing called lightning bet, which is literally heroin for gamblers. You know what the under-over is?
No.
You ever hear that?
What is Yeah, I know what the
Anybody here know what the under-over is?
Yeah.
Okay, say you're betting a basketball game, okay? And the under-over for the basketball game is 180 points, which that means is the total amount of points that each team scores has to come total over 180. Then you win. If the total number that they score is below 180, you lose, hence over-under. So a lightning bet is you assign a number, an amount of money to each point that the bet goes over or under, which means if you lightning bet $1,000 on an over at 180, once you hit the over, I get the chill saying this, once you hit the over, every single basket that gets hit in the game, you win $1,000.
From both teams.
Both teams.
Oh my
a basket from the field is $2,000.
Oh my God.
A 3-pointer's $3,000. Every single basket.
$3,000 for everything.
It's $1,000. Oh my God. So like the shakes you start to get while you're watching are literally like they're visible. It's almost like you're having a conniption. And you have drinks, maybe Cokes, to calm you down. And every time a shot goes up, it's like $1,000, $2,000. And to me, it's the purest form of degenerate gambling I've ever seen.
Wow. I wasn't even aware that existed.
Norm and I was on the road once for 6 months. I was opening for him. It was during the basketball playoffs. We had about 40 G's on every game.
Was it Norm, the one we just talked about, that had that famous story where he threw the money in the ocean because he knew he was going to lose it? Was that Norm?
Yeah, he decided to throw it out because he thought it would just make him lose more.
But that might have very well been urban legend. Do you know is that true?
Well, a lot of this could be urban legend. Who knows?
No, not from you. I'm saying I didn't hear it from Norm.
No. I agree that
Did
could
you?
be. No, and I agree that could be urban legend, absolutely.
Well, everyone knows he's just a wild maniac.
He's one of the funniest, smartest human beings I've ever met, but he's got a true edge and a true danger, and that's what happens. I love him, though. He's a rock star, man.
He's a bad motherfucker.
He's a rock star.
He's hilarious. He's hilarious, and he's also like, that's really him. Like, he's not putting on an act.
You know, when he hosted the ESPYs in 2001, O.J. Simpson was just forced to give his Heisman Trophy back to Fred Goldman because O.J. lost the civil suit.
Right.
So he had to give money reparations back to Fred Goldman and Nicole. So he didn't have any money, so he said, take my Heisman Trophy for whatever that's worth. So Fred Goldman takes it, and now he owns it. So the next week of the ESPYs, Norm hosts the ESPYs. Charles Woodson, the guy who won the Heisman Trophy, the first offensive guy ever sitting in the front row. First joke Norm tells, he looks in the front row and he says, hey, Charles Woodson, man. You won the Heisman Trophy. No one can ever take that away from you. First defensive guy to win the Heisman Trophy. No one can ever take that away from you. And everybody applauds. It's like a real nice thing. And it settles down, and Norm goes, no one can ever take that Heisman Trophy away. And then he pauses and said, unless, of course, you kill your wife and a waiter.
How does that go over?
It bombed.
Did it really?
Well, it was... yeah, it was at Radio City. It was like Ken Griffey Jr. was on the...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Well, what did they expect? It's Norm fucking Macdonald.
Well, maybe not that, but still, it makes me love him even more.
Norm and I talked. We sat next to each other randomly on an airplane. Talked the whole way back, just shot the shit, talked about all kinds of stuff. I was like, yeah, I quit smoking a while ago, just done with it. And for whatever reason, the plane lands, and he goes, man, I just want a cigarette. He just walks in this door. He hadn't smoked in like X amount of months, but just decided from talking about it on the airplane, how he quit smoking, that he just wanted another cigarette. He just grabbed it, went outside, and he's just smoking it. I go, what happened? I go, I thought you quit smoking. He goes, I did. I did.
And then it's about to go down. We're here to stay and run this town. Bring in the heat, bring in the energy. We're the queens of the festival, can't you see? We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. We're the festival queens, standing transcendental. Ooh, yeah, ooh. From dawn till dusk, we command the crowd's gaze. Every beat, every rhyme sets our souls ablaze. With swagger and style, we own this domain. In the realm of music, we reign supreme, no chain. Feel the rhythm pulsating through your veins. Our verses ignite, fire never wane. With each lyric we spit, each move we make, we carve our legacy, leaving jaws to quake. We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. We're the festival queens standing tall. Ooh, I get it, ooh. No crown needed, our all's the crown jewel in the kingdom of sound. We never play the fool with beats as our scepters and rhymes as our decree. We're the sovereigns of rhythm for all to see. So bow down to the queens as we own the night. In the kingdom of music, we're the guiding light. From the first note to the last, we'll always be the festival queens, forever wild and free.
Until just now, I just wanted a cigarette.
The movie, me and him, I did a buddy comedy with him, and it got bad reviews, right? So the reviewer in my hometown paper said, Artie Lange has all the charm of a date rapist. True line. Oh, really? So Norm looks at it, and he calls me up, and he goes, hey, man, that's fucking great. A date rapist has to have way more charm than a regular rapist.
God bless
that made
man.
me feel better. Norm is the coolest motherfucker on the planet. I love him, and he's funny, and I hope he doesn't die broke.
No, he's just a real special dude. Yeah. He's a very unusual guy. I got to get him on this podcast. I just never see him.
You'd have a blast, of course.
When I was on the plane with him, he didn't even have a cell phone back then. I got an answering machine. They can get me there, I call him back when I want to.
Man, that's how it should be anyway. Who cares? They can call me back if they want.
Yeah, I mean, it is how it should be, I guess, unless someone needs to get a hold of you right now. And then
well, for doctors, lawyers, kids, I guess it's good. Everything else, who cares?
What about gambling, Artie? The line is hot.
I know. I'd rather not know for a while.